Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahid Yusuf, your English teacher, and today we are going to start a new topic, that is narration or reported speech. And this topic is in your syllabus and it carries 3 marks as far as your examination is concerned. See, before starting the topic, we'll see what this narration is actually. See, narration is to narrate. To narrate, it means to narrate. So, what does this word narration means actually? What does this word narration mean actually? See, it is actually the art of reporting the words of a speaker. For example, there is a person who said something to me. Now I have to tell another person what he said to me. So I have two ways. To convey his message to another person. One way is direct speech and another way is indirect speech. If I quote the actual words of the speaker, if I quote him word to word and convey his actual message to the person, that is what direct speech is. If I quote his speech, but I don't write the exact words, I just convey the content of his speech. I just convey the content of his speech to other person. That is what indirect speech is. See, direct speech is when we exactly report what someone said. Word to word, actual words. We quote actual words of somebody in direct speech. And as far as indirect speech is concerned, indirect speech means when we report the content of what someone said rather than the exact words. For example, if somebody said something to me, I will convey that in my words to another person. I will convey that message, I will convey that speech to another person, but in my words. Yes, the exact words would not be there, but the content of that sentence, content of that speech, that should remain. So direct speech is exactly what someone said, word to word, actual words, actual speech of somebody. And indirect speech is when I convey in my words what I received, what I listened to other person. That is what indirect speech is. So this is what narration is known as, this is what direct speech is, and what indirect speech is. See, I'll write an example here. He said, I am feeling happy. He said, I am feeling happy. This is direct speech. Why? Because I am telling you that he said. For example, John said, I am feeling well. So I am actually quoting his words. He said to me, I am feeling well. I am telling you that he said I am feeling well. I am feeling well. So these are the actual words of the speaker, that is he, or we can simply write any name here, John. So these are the actual words of the speaker, John. I have not changed the words. I have not changed anything here. I have just written the actual words of the speaker, John. So this is direct speech. Now I will change it. I will just write the content of what John said, but I can write it in my own words. See, I'll write John said that he was feeling happy. John said that he was feeling happy. So the meaning, the content is same. The content is same. Here I said that John said I am feeling happy. Here I wrote John said that he was feeling happy. John said that he was feeling happy. So the content, the meaning of both the sentence that is same. But what is different is the words. Here I used exact words what John had said earlier, and here I wrote the message, I wrote the sentence, but I wrote the content of this sentence in my own words. That is what the difference is. What is the difference between direct speech and indirect speech? See, students, we have a lot of things to do. It is a bit longer topic, narration, but it is, I think it is one of the easiest topics in basic grammar, that is in your syllabus. It is one of the easiest topics because every step follows a rule. Every step follows a rule. That is how it becomes very easy for students to learn. See, I'll tell you what we have to do. First, in the very beginning of this topic, we'll first know what is the difference and what things we have to take care of in direct speech and in indirect speech. So we can simply make that like this: pointers to remember in direct speech and pointers to remember in indirect speech. I'll start with that and then we'll see there are some general rules and some specific rules. General rules and some specific rules. General rules are those rules which are followed in every kind of sentence, in every situation, And after pointers, we'll discuss general rules that are followed in every sentence, and then we'll come to specific rules. Specific rules, for example, how assertive sentences are changed. Some general rules are applied, followed, but there are some other rules which are specific only to assertive sentences. Then, for example, interrogative sentences. Some specific rules which are only followed in interrogative sentences. Then optative, imperative, other sentences. So, and exceptions also. So, we'll first do the pointers to remember about direct speech, pointers to remember about indirect speech. Then we'll discuss general rules. In general rules, we have rules for tenses, rules for pronouns, rules for certain words, etc. And in specific rules, we have certain other rules. So we'll do stepwise, step 1, step 2, step 3, and I believe that it is very easy to understand. It is very easy to understand how we can change a direct sentence, how we can change direct speech into indirect speech. It is a very easy thing to teach you people, or it is a very easy thing to learn, because it follows a rule at every step. Every step follows a rule in this topic, that is direct and indirect speech. See, before discussing the pointers, we'll discuss one thing first. For example, this is a sentence. They said to him. You are a brilliant batsman. They said to him, you are a brilliant batsman. See, we have to understand this sentence or these clauses. See, this part is one part, then comma, then another part, then another part. See, as far as this part is concerned, it is known as a reporting speech, and sometimes some Grammarians also call it reporting verb only. Reporting verb only. Yes, it contains the reporting verb. So you can call this part reporting verb. And this part is called a reported speech. Reported speech. Reporting verb and reported speech, or reporting speech and reported verb. See why reporting verb? Because we have this said. It is actually reporting verb. That is why this part is known as reporting verb. And this is known as reporter. This is reporter and this is object. This is object. See, this part is known as reporting verb or reporting speech, and this part is known as reported speech. It is known as reported speech. So you can call it like this: reporting verb and reported speech. Reporting verb and reported speech. But mark this, that this is the reporting verb that is used in this part, and the subject that is known as reporter. That is known as reporter. It can be a noun, it can be a personal pronoun. So this is reporter, reporting verb, and whole part, this is known as reporting speech, or you can call it reporting verb. Yes, there are so many grammarians who call this a reporting verb. This whole part they call reporting verb, and this part is known as reported speech. You should remember this, because these things we will use in coming lectures, because we have to change these things and we have to name these things every now and then in the coming lectures. See, now I'll talk about some important points or points to remember about direct speech. These are very important. My marker is not writing properly. So the first one is both reporting verb and reported. This is RV, reporting verb, or reporting speech. I would write RP, RS, then it would become reporting speech, and RS, reported speech. That is why I wrote reporting verb. That is, it will differentiate from this one. This is reporting verb or reporting speech, and this is reported speech. Both of them indirect speech. Both of them. That is reporting verb and reported speech. What I told you, reporting verb and reported speech, they start with a capital letter. Or in other words, we can say their first word starts with a capital letter. For example, he said we are five. He said we are five. He is capital. The first word starts with a capital in reporting speech, and the first word starts with a capital in reported speech as well. First point number one about direct speech. Point number second. Reporting verb or reporting speech. Reporting speech or reporting verb is separated from reported speech, by a comma. A comma separates reporting verb and reported speech. A comma separates reporting speech and reported speech. Here, this is reporting speech or reporting verb, and here it is separated by a comma. So these two parts, this is one part and this is another part. They are separated by a comma. And rule number third. The actual words of a speaker the actual words of a speaker are put in quotation marks or inverted commas, we call them. Markers are not writing properly. See, third rule is the actual words of a speaker. For example, this "we are fine." We are fine. They are put, the actual words are put in quotation marks or inverted commas. So they are put in quotation marks or inverted commas. So these 3 pointers are very necessary to remember as far as direct speech is concerned. First, both reporting verb and reported speech, they start with a capital letter. They begin with a capital letter. Here, he and we. He begins with a capital letter, and the word we, it also starts with a capital letter. And the second rule is reporting verb or reporting speech, is separated from reported speech by a comma. A comma is placed between first part and second part. That it separates them from one another. And third thing, the actual words of the speaker, that is reported speech, that actual words of the speaker are put in inverted commas, or we call them quotation marks. Now, points to remember about indirect speech. See, as far as indirect speech is concerned, we have some 2 or 3 points very necessary to remember. In that, first point, we don't use comma to separate any part. We don't use comma to separate any part in indirect speech. For example, we had written the sentence. What was that? He said, I am fine. Was it that? Okay. So we'll change that. He said that he was fine. So we don't place any comma anywhere in indirect speech. Extra. So there can come a comma if there is a long sentence that is to be changed into indirect speech. But here we don't use any comma in between the 2 parts, that is particularly reporting speech and reported speech. And second thing is quotation marks are inverted, commas are not used to quote anything. So it is not, they are, as we know that these are not the actual words of the speaker. So we don't use inverted commas. We don't use quotation marks to quote anything, because we don't have to quote anything in indirect speech, because these are the words which are our own, which convey the content, but the words are our own. So we don't need any inverted commas, any quotation marks while we write indirect sentence, while we write indirect speech. And third and important, that is the tense of the reporting verb. So this is the reporting verb. For example, he said, I am fine. This is the reporting verb. The tense of the reporting verb never changes. So if it is in second form, if it is in past form, it will always remain in past form in indirect speech. If it is in first form, it will always remain in first form in indirect speech. I'll tell you how. See. For example, we have a sentence here. He said, I have got a car. I have got a car. So this is a reporting verb. This is reporting verb. This is reporting verb. So rule number 3 is the tense of this reporting speech you say, reporting verb you say, the tense of reporting verb will never change. Will never change. Yes, here the tense of reported speech changes. Yes, there are some exceptions, but here the tense changes. Here the tense changes. See, I have got the car. It will become he had got a car. He had got a car. So this is present perfect. It has been changed into past perfect. Past perfect. But this is past form. The verb is in past form. It is written in past form. So it will always be past form. Here it will become he said. So if this is he says, I have got a car. He says, I have got a car. Here it will remain he says. If it will be he said to him, here it will become told. Told, you will see that it is another word, but that is different. That is also told is the second form of verb tell. Second form of verb tell. And when we have any object, in the reporting speech, we write tell, we write told, we write tell, we write told in indirect speech. And when we don't have any object here, we don't write told or tell. We write say or said. See, for example, we write say, said when we don't have any object in the reporting speech. When we have object in there, for example, he says to him, he says to him, he said to him, he said to him. So it will become, while changing this into indirect speech, it will become he tells him, he tells him. So this is V1 and this is also V1. So the third rule is the tense, the verb remains the same. The form of the verb remains the same. It will never change its form. It will never change its form. For example, he said to him, he told him, he told him. This is V2, this is V2. This is V1, this is V1. So the difference is only this, that when this say is followed by an object, then it will become tell, and when the said is followed by an object, it will become told. Otherwise, said, told, it is one, but the difference is whether it is followed by an object or not. So 3 rules are there as far as indirect, not the rules, it is a rule, yes, but 3 points to remember as far as indirect speech is concerned. One, we don't use any comma to separate this one part from another. And second, we don't use inverted commas, quotation marks to quote some actual words because there are no actual words. They are rendered, they are written in our own words. And third one, the verb of the reporting speech is never changed. The verb form. For example, if it is written in first form, it will be written in first form in indirect speech. If it is written in second form, it will be written in second form in indirect speech. If it is written in future tense, it will be written in future tense in indirect speech. So these are the 3 rules which you must remember. 3 pointers which you must remember. So in today's lecture, we discussed narration, we discussed direct speech, we discussed indirect speech, and then I told you what are the two parts of this direct speech, that is reporting speech and reported speech. And then I told you also that some pointers, I told you about some pointers which we should remember about direct speech, and then we discussed some pointers which we should remember in indirect speech. So that is all for today. I shall conclude here, and in the coming lectures we'll discuss all the other things which are there in narration. And till then, have a nice day, and Allah Hafiz.